Well, friends, here we are under another week of mostly staying at home and not seeing people face to face. As I've talked with many of you and heard updates, one theme that seems to be coming up over and over again is waiting, that many of us are waiting. 2 Fridays ago, just before everything really ramped up, I had a regularly scheduled MRI to look at my liver. Many of you know that I have a liver disease, and so this was just a regular scheduled MRI. And at the time, I was told that I should get the results within 24 hours. Well, suffice to say that with all the work that came into our doctor's offices, I didn't hear back for over a week, and um, it was hard to wait for that period of time. I ended up calling them to find out what that MRI showed. And while I was waiting, there were times when it was hard, and I was wondering if I might get bad news. I just got a call back this morning, by the way, that things look good. So I was very grateful for that report. That's just one example. I mean, many of us are waiting for a variety of things, right? So some of us are waiting for updates from family or friends. Some of us are waiting to have a medical procedure that was scheduled but delayed because of what's going on. Some of us are waiting to hear back about our jobs. Some of us are waiting to find out if our kids are going back to school. We're waiting until we can gather together again as a church. We're just waiting until we can get back to our normal lives, right? It's not uncommon for God's people to go through seasons of waiting. Sometimes God uses these seasons to draw out our faith, and sometimes God uses times of waiting to show us something greater about himself that we would not have seen otherwise. We love the story of Lazarus as we get to see Jesus' love and power on full display. But there's something strange in that story that catches my attention, and I think it's worth thinking about for a moment. John 11, verses 5 and 6 says, "Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. When he had heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was." So you see what happened there? When Jesus heard that Lazarus was sick, he stayed put. He waited. And this delay results in Lazarus' death, and it causes confusion for Martha, who says in verse 21, "Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother would not have died." And she's right. When God seems to delay and have us wait, it can cause confusion for us. But the story of Lazarus shows us that God's timing is good for us. And this passage in particular shows us that God's timing is good for us in two ways. First, God's timing is designed because he loves us. Verses 5 and 6 tell us that Jesus waits precisely because he loves his friends. But that still doesn't answer all of our questions, because love does what's best for the other person. And stopping Lazarus from dying seems like it would have been the best thing for him and for his friends. That tension should make us wonder if there's something better than life itself. And there is. Jesus said back in verse 4, "This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby." Jesus knew that the best thing for his friends was that they see God's glory in and through Jesus. And that's exactly what they get to see. Jesus' friends see his power, love, and glory in a new way when he raised Lazarus from the dead. Beloved, God's timing is tailored to display his glory and to show us his love. And even though we might not understand it during the delay, we can trust his timing. This helps us to be patient while we wait. So in the email below, you'll find a few more thoughts on waiting, and especially how waiting is connected to praying. You'll also find this week's prayer guide. It's been updated in a few ways, especially regarding some of our gospel partners. There's much to pray for, so Please continue to share requests and needs as you become aware of them. I've been so encouraged by the ways that I've seen this happening, so I would just encourage us to do that all the more. Even though we can't meet face to face, we are going to have a time of prayer this evening at 7 p.m. using Zoom. So all you need to do to participate in that is click on the link provided in this email. If you need help using Zoom, or if you know somebody who you think could use help using Zoom, please let me know. I'd be happy to help. Beloved, during this unusual season where God has us waiting for many things, let's look to him in faith, trusting that he is waiting because he loves us, and he is waiting to show us his glory, and he is worth waiting for.